Joining us, Nandita, good morning. When we talk of the disengagement has been completed at the Pangong So Lake, and now the 10th level of the Corps Commanders level talks is going to take place today. Let us know more. After the disengagement, it had been agreed that within 48 hours the talks will be held, and now that the talks are being held, from where do these talks move on forward? Given that the disengagement has...
Good morning, Preeti.
Good morning.
These talks, that is the 10th Corps Commander level talks, as the Defence Minister had promised in the Parliament, will be taking place 48 hours after the first phase is over, and as per schedule, they are taking place. Our Lieutenant General of the 14th Corps will be talking to the Chinese Corps Commander, and the agenda this time is basically taking stock of what has been achieved. That, of course, has been a coordinated and verified process. Now, the friction points or the standoff points at Depsang, Gogra and Hot Springs will be taken up. You, in your anchor link, and have very comprehensively explained how from finger 4 to finger 8 is a no patrolling zone. It's a no man's land where there is a temporary halt or a cease to patrolling. Armored forces, the mechanized.
Yes, Nandita, am I audible? Nandita, please continue.
Yeah. Preeti, about
yes,
10 minutes
please continue.
back, these talks must have started. About 10 minutes back, these talks must have started. Around 10 a.m. they were supposed to start at the Moldo garrison on the Chinese occupied side of the line of actual control. We expect these talks to not go as long as the earlier Corps Commander level talks went. As you know, Preeti, that some of these talks have gone on to at least 13 to 14 hours also. Because this agreement was reached in the 9th Corps Commander level talks, now we expect the Chinese to actually walk the talk. Since the trust level that we have on the Chinese is very, very low, the Indian Army does not trust the Chinese. Therefore, every step has been reciprocated only after verifying and cross-checking, not with multiple sources, not just through observation of line of sight, but also through drones, satellite imagery, everything. And that has shown that from all the fingers, from finger 4 to 6, 7, 8, these places have been vacated by the Chinese. Not just the videos of the Indian Army, but also satellite imagery shows that the Chinese have vacated their bunkers, tents, dismantled their temporary structures, and in fact with JCBs have leveled the land over there, just as this was for part of the agreement also, as the Defence Minister had told in the Rajya Sabha, that the landforms will be restored. So as of now, status quo ante of April 2020 has been is on path to being achieved, and that is what India's main demand was, that the status quo of April 2020 be restored. And China has achieved nothing by the way through the resolute deployment and the rapid deployment of the Indian Army, which took the Chinese by surprise. They were not expecting the Indian Army to stay put through the winter months. Indian Army did not blink. India showed a resolute resolve, did not budge from the heights, and that is what caused China to relent. It has in fact lost face, Preeti, in a way, because it has not actually achieved any strategic objective. It tried to shift the LAC westwards, but it has failed in that objective. And this is all due to the India, the actual. Primarily, I would give 3 reasons for that. One, the occupying of the Rizangla, Richinla heights in the Kailash ranges, which you know that this turned the tables on the Chinese, and it gave us a bargaining chip, because till the 4th round of Corps Commander level talks, you know that there was no headway, there was a stalemate. But only after that action did the Chinese got serious about dialogue and understood that the Indians meant business. Number 2, it was also the firm resolve the rapid, massive mobilization of the Indian Army, as in equal measure, more than 90,000 troops of the Indian Army at the LAC in Eastern Ladakh, all through the friction points. Preeti?
All right, Nandita, now that you're telling us that status quo of the April 2020 has been reached, and added to that, the disengagement has also been, the first phase of disengagement has been completed at Pangong So Lake. The troops of both sides are moving to the rear points. How would you gauge the further, the relationship between the two countries from here on? How
That's a
far
very
will
good
it
question,
help
Preeti.
in,
Preeti, what has
somewhat
happened is
normalizing
that,
of the relationship?
Preeti, that's a very good question. Let me tell you that, and as I've spoken to several army people, several foreign ministry diplomats, and they tell me that the relationship cannot be business as usual. Even though this disengagement has been affected, the larger issue of the LAC remains. Defense minister, the foreign minister, in their various talks with the Chinese, in not just on the sidelines of the SCO but also the talks in Moscow, and the several joint statements that have been issued both by the foreign ministry and defense ministry, openly and very categorically, unambiguously state that the relationship between the two countries that depends upon the peace and tranquility on the border. And the kind of deception, the sly lies and trickery that the Chinese did on 15th of June in Galwan, which led to the martyrdom of our 20 soldiers. India cannot really trust the Chinese at all. The Indian army has absolutely no trust on the Chinese. Every action is being looked at with a microscope. In fact, through drones, satellite imagery, everything is being verified, cross-verified. Only then reciprocal action is being taken. But let me tell you that the larger strategic geopolitical dynamics have changed, have shifted since last year. And as we saw, the banning of the Chinese apps which were a threat to our security and data privacy, all that, other measures in the Indian Ocean region, we find that what I have been told is that the relationship cannot be as hunky-dory as it was before, even though it was not hunky-dory even then, but it cannot go back. The relationship certainly cannot go back to April 2020.
All right, but the savior is that both the sides are trying to, trying their hands at further strengthening the relationship, even as disengagement, the first phase of disengagement has been completed, and added to that, we also tell our viewers that efforts are being made to bring the troops back to the